Peace and love, family. Tonight I am going to be reading this act right here called the Belize Police Act, Chapter 138. I am going to be going over this 33-page document, and here are the arrangement of sections. And let's go over this. Okay. As you can see, it has 54 sections right here, see, and we're gonna go over this. It's very interesting stuff. So starts here at part 1, preliminary, constitution and administration. Okay, this act may be cited as the Police Act. In this act, unless the context otherwise requires, commissioner means commissioner of police appointed under section 3 of this act. Department means the Belize Police Department, established under Section 4 of this Act. Minister means the minister responsible for the department. Non-commissioned officer means a police officer of the rank of sergeant or corporal. Police constable or constable means a police officer under the rank of corporal, and also means detective police constable or detective constable. Police officer, it means a member of the police department. Prints shall include fingerprints, thumbprints, palm prints, and sole print impressions. Superior officer means any officer, any police officer of or above the rank of inspector. Now, section 3. Subsection 1. The Governor General may appoint a Commissioner of Police who, subject to the Governor General's orders, shall have the command and superintendence of the Police Department in Belize, and a sufficient number of superior officers, non-commissioned officers, and constables, and may, from time to time, fill up by fresh appointments all vacancies owing to removal, death, absence, incapability, or other cause. Okay, so as you can see here, it says here the Governor General may appoint a Commissioner of Office. So the Governor General, when we look at the Constitution, the Belize Constitution, talks in section 30, it says here, there shall be a Governor General of Belize who shall be a citizen of Belize, appointed by Her Majesty, and shall hold office during Her Majesty's pleasure, and who shall be Her Majesty's representative in Belize. So, the Governor General is a representative of Her Majesty, and the Governor General may appoint a Commissioner of Police who, subject to the Governor General's orders, meaning being a subject to, beneath, meaning the Governor General is the authority over the Commissioner of Police and is also receiving that authority from the Governor General by or from Her Majesty. So the Governor General, we're in subsection 2, the Governor General may authorize the Commissioner of Police at any time to enroll fit men as non-commissioned officers or constables, and to delegate all or any of his executive powers to some other police. So the Commissioner receives executive power from the Governor General, and that is delegated to the rest of the police officers. So it's a pyramid scheme of how authority is passed down from the top to the bottom. So the police officers are all subjects of Her Majesty. Under subsection 2 of this section, every delegation or enrollment so authorized and may be made shall be an appointment under this act. So every time, so this is what it's saying, so if the delegation any type of delegation, meaning the passing down of authority from one to the other, is basically going to be referred to or recognized to be an appointment. So the Governor General is appointing the Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner of Police appoints these non-commissioned officers, constables, and so on and so forth. So, Section 4, Establishment of Police Department and Functions of Police. There shall be established a police department to be known as the Belize Police Department. So established means establishment, right? Just pointing that out. Anyway, which shall be employed, right? Meaning that this is going to be an employee of the Belize government, right? Which shall be employed for the prevention and detection of crime. So it's going to be under criminal authority or criminal law. The apprehension of offenders meaning those who offend the king. The preservation of law and order. The protection of property. And the due enforcement of all laws, regulations, rules, and orders with which it is charged. And for the performance of such duties, police officer may carry arms. So, it says here for the protection of property. Well, because the delegation of authority is coming from the executive office, they have this thing called an executor duty whenever they receive any property, and they're to execute as per the laws what to do with said property. Anyway, let's continue. Section 5. Subject to subsection 2 of this section, the Governor General may, in case of war or other emergency, employ the department or any part thereof to serve with Her Majesty's Armed Forces, which is the BDF. So we know the BDF is Her Majesty's Armed Forces, not the People's Armed Forces. Just mind you, this is what it's saying here. Or otherwise in the Belize, under defense of Belize. So, subsection 2, it says any part of the department so employed shall remain under the command of the Commissioner or such other police officer as the Commissioner may appoint for the purpose. Subsection 3, when called upon to serve with Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the department, or such part thereof as may be so employed, shall be subject to military law. Every police officer, section 6 right here, subsection 1, every police officer shall, on joining the department, make the following declaration, in such manner as he may declare to be most binding on his conscience. Man, this is a serious declaration right here. This is what every police officer needs to declare in order to get that uniform and the authority and to bear arms. It says, I, the name of the individual, A.B., do solemnly and sincerely declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to who? Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, or King Charles III, I believe, her heirs and successors, and that I will serve, and I will faithfully serve Her Majesty the Queen, her heirs and successors during my service in the department, and will obey all orders of the Governor General and of the officers placed over me, and will subject myself to all acts, orders, and regulations from time to time enforced relating to the department. So, when somebody wants to be a police officer in Belize, this is what they have to declare. They have to pledge their allegiance solely to Her Majesty, that they will bear faithful allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen, her successors, And interestingly, it doesn't say that they serve the people. I don't see here that they serve the people. They serve the majesty, the queen. Okay. And let's continue. So this is how it is set forth. Signature of a magistrate or superior officer. So either one of them, superior officer or magistrate, they're both higher authorities of the police officers, which must make this declaration here. So let's move on to subsection 2. Such declaration shall be made before the magistrate or superior officer and shall be signed by the police officer. It's a binding contract. This is a binding declaration right here. It says it. So, 7. The commissioner shall, from time to time, subject to the approval of the minister, make such rules and regulations as he thinks expedient for members of the department, including A. The general government of members of the department, their distribution and inspection. B. Description of clothing, arms, accoutrements, and other necessaries to be furnished to them. C. Their attendance in barracks. D. The mode in which they are to perform their duties. E. The service required of them and their conduct in the performance thereof. F. Their discipline and rank. And G. Their promotion or reduction from one rank to another. This is the commissioner shall from time to time, subject to the approval of the minister, make such rules and regulations as he thinks expedient for members of the department, including all of this. Okay, perfect. 8. The commissioner may at any time suspend from employment any assistant inspector, sergeant, corporal, or constable belonging to the department whom he may think remiss or negligent in the discharge of his duties, or otherwise unfit for the same. Subsection 2. The commissioner shall thereupon notify the fact with the cause of such suspension to the Public Services Commission, and to the minister for information. And when any man shall be so suspended, all powers vested in him, a constable shall immediately cease and shall remain in abeyance during the period of such suspension. Abeyance. What is that word? Abeyance. Let's see. Definition of abeyance. State of temporary disuse or suspension. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Section 9. A constable may be discharged at any time if, in the opinion of the commissioner, he is unlikely to become or has ceased to be an efficient constable. Section 10, subsection 1. Every superior officer of the department shall be ex officio a justice of the peace for Belize. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And the commissioner or the superior officer delegated by him for the purposes shall, subject as expressed in this section, have and possess power and jurisdiction to hear and determine all charges against any non-commissioned officer or constable of the department for the offenses set forth in section 24 of this act. Okay, so it says here every superior officer of the department shall be ex officio a justice of the peace. Let's look that up. Ex officio. Ex officio. As a result of one's status or position, okay, denoting or relating to a member of a body who holds a role as a result of their status or another position they hold. Okay, it's just they were ex officio eligible for members of both clubs. Okay, so it's basically as a result of one's status or position. Okay, so every superior officer in the department shall be ex officio a justice of the peace. So the commissioner, subsection 2, the commissioner of or the superior officer delegated by him for the purpose shall have the power to punish all offenders as provided in section 24 of this act, and shall have all the powers of bringing such offenders before them, and of summoning and enforcing the attendance of witnesses, and of examining them upon oath or affirmation in respect of offenses which they are authorized to investigate under this act, or under any rule made or continued in force thereunder, respectively, as are possessed by the magistrates of Belize. So basically it's saying here that the commissioner of the superior or the superior officer delegated by him for the purpose shall have the power to punish all offenders. So we gotta find out what's these offenders right here. How does one become an offender? How does one be identified or labeled an offender? But maybe let's say it a little bit down the line. So subsection 3, any person willfully and corruptly giving false evidence before the commissioner or any such superior officer shall be deemed guilty of perjury. So any person willfully or corruptly giving false information, wow, guilty of perjury. Isn't that interesting? Perjury. Well, let's look that up. Perjury. Intentional act of swearing a false oath. Okay. Section 11. No police officer shall, without the consent of the commissioner, engage in any other employment or office. Without the consent, they have to get the consent. Oh, so this is like when the police officers are working in front of a supermarket. I guess that's what it means, that they would have to get consent from the commissioner to work there. Okay. 12. Subsection 1. The Governor General may make regulations relating to A. The numerical establishment of the department, the conditions of enlistment and services, and the various grades, ranks, and appointments therein, and B. the pay and allowance of members of the department. So the Governor General is what regulates members of the departments. Okay. All such regulations shall be laid on the table of both houses of the National Assembly for a negative resolution. Okay. 13. The commissioner and superior officers shall be appointed. Okay, appointed, again, earlier we found out that that means delegation of authority. Shall be appointed and may be suspended or dismissed in accordance with the regulations for the time being in force with regard to other public officers in Belize. Okay, well, right here it says tenure of office by officers of the... Oh, let's see what the definition of tenure means. What is that? The condition under which land or buildings are held occupied, or the holding of an office. So the holding of an office by officers of the department. Okay, so the commissioner and superior officer shall appoint and may suspend, may be suspended or dismissed. The commissioner and superior officers may be suspended or dismissed in accordance with the regulations. Okay, for the time being enforced with regards to other public officers in Belize. Okay. A non-commissioned officer, I'm section 14. A non-commissioned officer or constable may resign from the department unless expressly authorized in writing to do so by the commissioner. 15. When a member of the department ceases to belong to the department, he shall before leaving deliver upon to the person appointed by the commissioner for that purpose, or to the officer in charge of police at the place at which he was last stationed, all arms, ammunitions, what the hell is this word right here? Let's see what this is. Accoutrements. Additional items of dress or equipment or other items carried or worn by a person. Okay. Alright. Okay. Uniform and other appointments which have been supplied to him and which are property of the government. Okay. Any member, subsection 2, any member of the department failing to deliver up any such property as required by the section shall be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $250 or to imprisonment for any period not exceeding 6 months, and in addition may be liable to pay the value of the property not delivered, up which value shall be ascertained by a magistrate and shall be recoverable as a fine. So basically, you better turn in your uniform, your badge, your gun, everything, or else you will be charged with a fine. Subsection 3, the court may issue a warrant to search for a seize of all such property which have not been so delivered up. Okay. Fair. Part 2, powers, duties, and privileges of a police officer. Section 16, after making and signing the declaration as set out in Section 6, after signing away their rights and pledging allegiance to Her Majesty in Section 6, every police officer shall, so long as he continues as a member of the department, have all the powers, authorities, privileges, protection, and advantages, and be liable to all such duties and responsibilities as any officer or constable duly appointed now has or is subject or liable to or may hereafter have or be subject to or liable to, either by the common law of England or by virtue of any law which now is or may hereafter be in force in Belize. I think this also has to do with contracts, any law, contracts, and trust, whenever they're entrusted with something. Because in order for them to get this power, they have to give that oath, they have to promise. So that promise which they give is received, and then they get to have this, but they have to fulfill those promises. So if, let's say, somebody entrust them, but its intention is to give something to Her Majesty, then that creates a trust with the police officer, and if he doesn't comply with that trust, then he's going against the law, any laws here, see, which may be false because trust is enforced in Belize. Anyway, let's move on. Section 17, where any information has been laid, or complaint, or arrest made by any police officer, it shall be lawful for the commissioner or any superior officer, sergeant, or corporal of the department, if of opinion that such information was laid, or that such complaint or arrest was made by such police officer in the performance of his duties as a police officer, to appear on behalf of such police officer before any magistrate at any proceedings consequent upon such information, complaint or arrest, and on behalf of such police officer to conduct the information, complaint, or charge, and examine and cross-examine witness in the same manner as if such information had been laid, or such complaint or arrest had been made by such commissioner, superior officer, sergeant, or corporal. So this is one sentence right here. One big sentence right here. And most people who read this cannot understand what the hell they read. You have to read this at least a few times in order to understand what this means. Basically, it says it right here. It condenses the right of superior officer, etc., of the police department to prosecute police cases. Okay. Alright. So basically, I'm not going to read that again. Bail by police. Section 8, subsection 1. It shall be lawful for any superior officer or any non-commissioned officer or constable, shall be lawful for any one of them in charge of the police station when any person is in custody without warrant for any offense punishable upon summary conviction to take bail for the appearance of such person before the nearest court of summary jurisdiction at a day, time and place to be named in the recognizance. Recognizance, that's an interesting word. Recognizance. A bond, by which a person undertakes before a court or magistrate to observe some condition, especially to appear. It's an appearance bond. That's what it is. Recognizance is an appearance bond. And we know that bonds are basically used as an asset to collateralize an obligation. So it can be used, it's used by money changers to make money. But anyway, it says here, it shall be lawful for any superior officer or any non-commissioned officer or constable in charge of a police station when any person is in custody without warrant or any offense punishable upon summary conviction to take bail for appearance. Okay, so this is basically they have to give bail. This is what it's saying. Okay, they have to give bail. All right. If any such officer, non-commissioned officer, or constable declines or refuses to take bail for such person, as aforesaid, and such person so requires, it shall be the duty of such officer, non-commissioned officer, or constable for it to take or cause to be taken such person before the magistrate conveniently near for the purpose of having such person dealt with according to the law. Okay. I'm going to have to read that again. Because right here it says, it shall be lawful for the police officer to take bail for the appearance. But then it also says, if any such officers, any of these officers, decline or refuses to take bail for any such person, as aforesaid, and such person so required, it shall be the duty of such officer, or the duty of non-commissioned officer, or the duty of a constable, to take or cause to be taken such person before the magistrate conveniently near for the purpose of having such person dealt with according to the law. So they don't give bail. You have to take the police officer has to take the person to the magistrate conveniently near. So basically, you have to take them from the magistrate if you don't want to give them bail. Okay. It shall be lawful for the competent police authority to take or cause to be taken and to record for the purpose of identification, the measurements, weight, photographs, and prints of all persons who may from time to time be in lawful custody. Subsection 2, if such measurements, weight, photographs, and prints are taken of a person who has not previously been convicted of any criminal offense, and such person is discharged or acquitted by a court, all records relating to such measurements, weight, photographs, both negative and positive, and prints shall be immediately destroyed or handed over to such person. Wow, that's interesting. So everybody who has gone to court, has been taken to jail, and then they don't get charged for any criminal offense, all that information that was taken from them needs to be destroyed and be handed back to them at once, as per subsection 2, section 19, or section 19, subsection 2 of the Police Act. Isn't that interesting? Subsection 3, every competent police authority may take such actions as the proper and efficient execution of the provisions of this section may reasonably require. And this is what they stress right here. Competent police authority. Competent. Not any police authority. Every competent police authority. For the purpose of this section, the competent police authority shall be any non-commissioned officer of the department authorized by a commissioner or any commissioned officer. So basically here they describe it. They said, what is a competent police authority? It says right here. Competent police department shall be any commissioned officer, non-commissioned officer of the department. Okay. So it is expected that they're all competent. That's what it is. The section 20. The duties of the department shall be, okay, this is the duties of the department, of the Belize Police Department, to preserve the peace. Okay. Detect crimes, apprehend and summon before a magistrate persons found committing or whom they may reasonably suspect of having committed an offense, or who are charged with having committed any offense. Their also duty is to execute all summonses, execute all warrants, execute subpoenas, execute notices, and criminal processes issued from any court of criminal jurisdiction. See, so it's all criminal jurisdiction right here. Or by any magistrate in a criminal matter, or by a coroner, and to do and perform all duties appertaining to the office of constable or imposed upon constables by the law of Belize. So it's all, first thing, the main thing is to preserve the peace. That's right here. So the main duty of the police officer and the police department under subsection A, it's section 20, subsection 1A. The main duty is to preserve the peace. Okay. Here's another one. B, to perform such duties in connection with the repression of crime, guarding of prisoners, preventions of offenses against the revenue. Isn't that interesting? The revenue. The preservation of orders. The preservation of order at the sitting of any court, and the execution of any process thereof, as may be required of them by any law, or under any regulations made under this act, or as may be specially ordered by the minister or the governor general, to repress internal disturbance and defend Belize against external aggressions. Okay, makes sense. Subsection 2, every police officer shall be deemed to be on duty at all times and may at any time be detailed for duty in any part of Belize. Wow, that's interesting. So why they say that they're off duty? It says here it should be deemed to be on duty at all times. That is interesting. That is super interesting. Notice of action. Okay. 21. No action shall be commenced or prosecution instituted against any police officer in respect of anything done or purporting to have been done by him under the provisions of this act, unless notice in writing of such action or prosecution and particulars thereof has been given to such police officer and to the officer in charge of the department in the place where the act complained of was committed, and to the attorney general. See, the attorney general has to get a copy right here. See, at least 1 month before the commencement of such action or the institution of such protection. So there's an issue with one of the police officers. The attorney general needs to be notified. Subsection, okay, here's subsection 2. Subsection 1 shall not apply to any prosecution instituted against any members of the police department by or on behalf of the director of public prosecutions or the commissioner of office. So this right here shall not apply to any prosecution instituted against any member of the police department by the director of public prosecutions or on behalf of the public commissioner or public prosecutions or the commissioner of police. Okay. Section 22. When any action is brought against any police officer for any act done in obedience to the warrant of any magistrate, he shall not be responsible for any irregularity in its issued or form, or for any want of jurisdiction of the magistrate issuing the same, but may plead the general issue and give the warrant in evidence at the trial, and on proving that the signature is in the handwriting of the person whose name appears subscribed thereto, and that he was reputed to be and acting as magistrate, there shall be a verdict for the defendant. Okay. This is interesting. It's pursuant to a warrant. When any action is brought against any police officer for any act done in obedience of a warrant of a magistrate, he shall not be responsible for any irregularity in its issue or form, or any want of jurisdiction of the magistrate issuing the same, but may plead the general issue and give the warrant in evidence at the trial, and on proving that the signature is in the handwriting of the person whose name appears subscribed thereto, and that he was reputed to be and acted as magistrate, there shall be a verdict for the defendant. Okay. Well, let's see. Move on to 23. Where any duty is imposed by an act on the commissioner, chief officer, or head of police, head officer of police, such duty shall be performed by the chief officer of police at present in Belize, unless the minister orders that such duty be performed by some other officer. This in regards to power of delegate duty imposed on commissioner to another officer. Okay. Discipline, part 3. Section 24. Every assistant inspector of police and non-commissioned police officer or constable of the department who A. begins, excites, causes or joins in any mutiny or sedition amongst any members of the department, or who conspires with any person to cause any such mutiny or sedition, or who does not use his utmost endeavors to suppress any such mutiny or sedition, or being cognizant of any such mutiny or sedition, does not, without delay, give information thereof to his superior officer. Okay. Every assistant inspection. Okay. Interesting. So basically, every assistant inspector of officer and non-commissioned officer or constable of the department who does any of these things right here, and that, on all of this right here, all of this, we're going to read it, is guilty of cowardice. Good Lord. Okay. Well, let's see. And all of this. Carries, keeps, uses, discharges any firearm. Okay. Pawn, sells. Well, let's read. Basically, this is interesting. Okay, we'll get to this right now. Let's see this. Okay, persuades or endeavors to persuade. Procures or attempts to procure or assist any police officer to desert, or being cognizant of any such desertions or intended desertions, does not, without delay, give information thereof to his superior police officer. C. Uses traitorous or disloyal words regarding Her Majesty. Wow, they can't do this. Police officers cannot talk traitorous or disloyal against Her Majesty. Police officers cannot talk shit about the crown. That makes a lot of sense. They can't talk shit because they will get disciplined. Damn, that's messed up. In respect, is disrespectful in word or act to any magistrate or his superior. See, he can't even disrespect a magistrate or any superior officer. Can't do that. He's going to get disciplined. Damn. Is found sleeping on duty or leaving his post or beat his post or beat before he is regularly relieved without lawful excuse. Drinks intoxicating liquor when on duty, for which he has been specifically detailed. Is found to be intoxicated on or when called for duty, or is found frequenting liquor shops when on duty except in the discharge of such duties. Strikes or assaults any other member of the department. Permits a prisoner to escape or fail to take prompt steps for the arrest of an offender. Parades for duty dirty or parades for duty dirty or untidy in his person, arms, clothing or equipment. Absents himself without leave. Okay. Willfully makes any false statement, entries, or returns pertaining to the activities of the department. Without proper authority, discloses or conveys any information concerning any investigation under the police or other police or departmental matter. Is slovenly, inattentive, or uncivil when on duty. Slovenly. What is this word? Slovenly. Messy. Dirty. Oh, why didn't you just say it? Just is dirty and messy. That's all they gotta say. They gotta use this word right here. Anyway. Inattentive or uncivil when on duty. Accepts or solicits a bribe. Huh, my God. This happens every single day. They don't get paid enough. What do you expect? They're gonna accept a bribe. They don't get paid enough anyway. Malingers or feigns or willfully causes any disease or infirmity. Without reasonable cause fails to appear at any parade appointed by his superior officer at which he is required to attend, is neglectful in carrying out an inquiry, investigation, or duty, engages without authority in any other employment or office, offers or uses unwarrantable personal violence to or ill threats any person in custody. This happens all the time. Enters or remains in a public or private house without reasonable cause whilst in duty. Makes a false accusation against any members of the public or of the department, knowing such accusations to be false. Incurs a debt and fails to pay within a period of 1 month thereof unless otherwise required or permitted by the creditor. This is interesting. Suffers serious pecuniary embarrassment. Okay. Makes any false statement upon joining the department. AA is guilty of cowardice. BB carries, keeps, uses, or discharges any firearm, ammunition, or other weapons without the authority of the commissioner or without just cause, or is negligent in the use of firearms and other weapons. CC pawns, sells, loses by neglect, makes away with, willfully or by neglect, damages or fails to report any damage to any arm, ammunition, accoutrement, uniform, or other article supplied to him, or any property committed to his charge. DD becomes surety for any person or engages in any loan transaction with any police officer without the permission in writing of the commissioner. Yeah, because he can't be surety because he already has an allegiance to the majesty, to the crown. So that's a bond. They have a lien on him. He can't be a surety if there's a lien on him. That's what I feel that means. Being under arrest or in confinement, leaves or escapes from his arrest or confinement before he is set at liberty by proper authority. If called upon by the commissioner to furnish a full and true statement of his financial position, fails to do so, GG is guilty of any act, conduct, disorder, or neglect which is declared by regulations made under this act to be an offense against duty or discipline, or is guilty of any act, conduct, disorder, or neglect to the prejudice of good order and discipline not specified in this subsection. All of that shall be deemed to have committed an offense against discipline and may, on conviction thereof by the commissioner or in his absence by any officer of the department deputed by him, be punished of such offense. Okay, so all of that which I just mentioned, this whole thing right here, all of this, they can be punished and disciplined. So you just got to point it out under which section they should be disciplined. Under what did they do? But there you go. You use this list to point out where if they caused any reason to be disciplined. It has to, you have to be found in this list of things. So, subsection 2: the assistant inspector, non-commissioned officer, or constable so convicted may be punished by anyone or any combination of not more than 2 of the following punishments, namely: A. Caution, reprimand, or serve reprimand. B. Fine not exceeding $200. Sheesh, just $200. C. The reduction of rank or grade. D. Extra duties for a period not exceeding 28 days. E. Confinement to barracks for a period not exceeding 28 days. Such confinement to involve the performance of ordinary duties as well as fatigue duties. F. Stoppage of increments. Okay, subject to subsection 26, forfeiture of pay for a period not exceeding 1 month. Surcharge for damage to property or award of compensation in favor of the injured party. Dismissal. Okay. Okay. 3. Every delegation under this section shall be in writing under the hand of the commissioner and shall be revocable and may be either general or special. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It shall be a general action or it should be a special. It's kind of like general deposit, special deposit, general accounts, special accounts. Very interesting. Very, very interesting that it says general and special as the commissioner thinks fit. So the delegation in this section shall be in writing. So I believe that means order, because once you give something in writing, it's an order. So the order shall be a general or special order. No such delegation shall be made to any member of the department below the grade of a superior officer. 5. All sentences inflicted by any officer delegated by the commissioner shall be submitted to and be subject to the approval of the commissioner, who may, subject to subsection 6 of this section, confirm or omit the whole or any part thereof, or may enhance it, or may substitute any other sentence which is authorized to be inflicted by this section. Subsection 6. It shall be the duty of the officer submitting such sentence to the commissioner to attach to his report of the case the evidence, which shall be taken on oath, and also any statement which the accused may desire to make in his defense, but in every case where the sentence awarded by the officer is a sentence of dismissal or reduction in rank or grade, the commissioner shall, before confirming such sentence, seek the advice of the Solicitor General. Okay. 7. The requirement of seeking the advice of the Solicitor General specified in subsection 6 above shall also apply where the commissioner himself is conducting the disciplinary proceedings and intends to award a sentence of dismissal or reduction in rank or grade. 8. The commissioner or the office deputed by him shall, while conducting disciplinary proceedings under this section, follow any regulations made by the minister in that behalf under section 53 of this act, and in the absence of such regulations, comply with the rules of natural justice. Isn't that interesting? The rules of natural justice. Appeals. Let's see, section 25, subsection 1. Where the sentence is awarded, confirmed, reduced, or altered under the provisions of section 24 of this act is a sentence of dismissal or reduction in rank or grade, the officer in respect of whom the decision is made may, within 21 days of the communication of the decision to him, appeal to the Belize Advisory Council against such decision. Subsection 2. Where an appeal is filed with the Belize Advisory Council pursuant to subsection 1 of this section, the Secretary of the Council shall immediately inform the Commissioner of such appeal. Subsection 3. Upon an appeal under the section, the Belize Advisory Council may affirm or set aside the decision appealed against, or may make any other decision which the Commissioner could have made. 26. Any assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable who has been sentenced to imprisonment or who is absent without leave shall forfeit all right to pay during the period of imprisonment or absent, and all fines or penalties imposed upon any such assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable of any offense under this act, or for a breach of any rules made thereunder, may be enforced by deducting the amount from any pay due or which may become due to the assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable so fined. 27. The commissioner may interdict from duty any assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable, pending any inquiry into the conduct of any such assistant inspector of officer or non-commissioned officer or constable under the provisions of the colonial regulations. The heck is the colonial regulations of this act or any rules made thereunder, but such assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable shall not, by reason of such interdiction, cease to be a member of the department. Okay, provided that the powers, privileges, and benefits vested in him as a police officer or constable shall, during his interdiction, what is interdiction? Let's see, what is interdiction? Let's see what the heck that is. Interdiction. The action of prohibiting or forbidding something. Okay. Immediately after such action of prohibiting or forbidding something, the commissioner shall notify the fact with the cause of such, again, interdiction, of such action of prohibiting or forbidding something to the minister for information. Any assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable who is interdicted, who is in action of prohibiting or forbidding something from duty of an assistant inspector of police or a non-commissioned officer or constable, the commissioner may, if he thinks fit, direct the whole or any part of the pay stopped under this section to be paid to such assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable. Okay. So it looked like they could just interfere with the pay. Okay, anyway, let's see. 5. If the assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable has been acquitted of the charges laid against him, all arrears of pay and allowances withheld during such interdiction shall be paid to him. 28. In every case where it appears to the commissioner that the offense the accused has committed cannot be adequately punished with any of the punishment provided in section 24 of this act, he may order that the accused be taken before a magistrate to be dealt with as provided in subsection 3. Where money is seized and forfeited as a result of police investigation, the minister may, by order, transfer an amount not exceeding 1/3 of such money to the credit of the Police Welfare Fund. Oh, there's a Police Welfare Fund. Isn't that interesting? Interesting. Where an accused person is taken before a magistrate under this section shall be liable in summary conviction of any offense mentioned in section 24. Wait a minute. 24? That is this. Oh, this shit that I read right here. This is under this falls under, but this is just for the department though. Wait a minute. So they're talking mainly about their own police officers going to the magistrate court. Yes. Okay, see, procedure in cases of grave offenses. In every case where it appears that the commissioner that the offense the accused has committed cannot be adequately punished with any of the punishment provided in section 24 of this act, he may order that the accused be taken before a magistrate to be dealt with as provided in subsection 3. Subsection 3 right here. Okay, I'll read that right now. Where money seized, okay, that'll go to, okay, this fund right here. Where an accused person is taken before a magistrate under this section shall be liable on summary conviction of any offense mentioned in section 24 of this act to fine not exceeding 3 months pay or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or to both such fine and term. Wait a minute. Why are they talking about, it seems like they're only talking about themselves. It seems like they're talking about their own departments, their own officers. It doesn't seem like it's like the people. This seems like this is all about them. This is to discipline them. No proceeding shall be taken against any police officer under this section in respect of any offense for which he's already been punished under any of the preceding section. Okay, so he can't be punished twice. That makes sense. 29. The commissioner may reduce in rank or dismiss from the department any assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer or constable after conviction by any court in respect of any offense, whether under this act or otherwise, unless such member of the department has successfully appealed from such conviction. Okay. 30. Section 30, subsection 1. Subject to subsection 2 of this section, all fines imposed on a member of the department for an offense under this act or any rule or regulation made thereunder shall be recoverable by stoppage from the offender's pay due or to become due to such offender. So right here, the offender that they're talking about right here strictly sounds like it's all the police department. They're just referring to the offenders of police department right here. That's what I'm seeing, right? So this has to do with just the police department regulating themselves and disciplining themselves. And okay, so let's read on. In the case of an offender who has been dismissed from the department, the amount of stoppage from any one pay shall not exceed 1/2 of such pay of the offender. Okay. 31. If any person appointed to the department is dismissed or ceases to belong thereto, all powers and authorities vested in him shall immediately cease and determine. Immediately cease and determine. Okay. 32. If any assistant inspector of police or non-commissioned officer of constable pawns, sells, loses by neglect, makes away with, or willfully or neglectfully damages any arm, ammunition, accoutrement, in uniform, or other articles supplied to him, or any property committed in his charge, he may, in addition to or in lieu of any other punishment, be ordered to make good the amount of such loss and or damages, and such amount may be recovered by deduction from his pay. That sucks. Welfare Fund and Police Association. 33. All fines imposed on a member of the department under the provision of the Police Ordinance of 1938 or this act or any rules or regulations made thereunder for any offense against discipline shall be paid into the treasury to be placed to the credit of a fund to be called the Police Welfare Fund. So it's a welfare scheme. It's a socialist scheme. It's a okay. No payment shall be made from the police welfare fund except upon the authority of the commissioner. The commissioner may, in his discretion, sanction payments from the police welfare fund for any of the following purposes: assistance to the wives or families of deceased members of the department of or below the rank of assistant inspector, or to any such members discharged from the department as medically unfit. Oh, okay, so like if Social Security doesn't want to cover it, well, the police welfare fund should be able to cover it. B. Assistance in serving members of the department of or below the rank of assistant inspector to enable them to obtain medical attention outside of Belize when such attention cannot be obtained in Belize. Contributions toward prizes to be given at athletic meetings, assault at arms, and similar events organized by or for the benefit of the department. D. Purchase of ammunition for the encouragement of range practice among members of the department. E. Payments to members of the department as rewards for meritorious acts or service in the execution of duty, if such payments are not met from government funds. F. Expenditure for the benefit and advancement of authorized recreation and sport and other branches of police activity organized within the department. G. Any other purpose not specified in this section which the commissioner considers to be for the general welfare of the department. 4. The payments from the fund in any 1 year shall not exceed the sum of $4,000 without prior approval of the minister. The payments of the funds in any 1 year shall not exceed payments of the fund, so they can't make payments from that fund which exceeds $4,000 without the approval of the minister. Okay. The money standing to the credit of the fund may from time to time be invested in the names of such person and in such manner as may from time to time be directed by the minister, and the money and the interest and the money and the dividends thereof, if any, may be applied from time to time by order of the commissioner to the purpose to which the fund is appropriated by this section. Okay, so it just said a whole bunch of words and not telling us what they're doing with the interest and how they're investing it. 34. For the purpose of enabling the members of the department to consider and bring to the notice of the commissioner and the government all the matters affecting their welfare and efficiency other than questions of discipline and promoting affecting individuals, there may be established in accordance with such rules as the commissioner may, with the approval of the Public Service Commission, make an organization to be called the Police Association, which shall be conducted as provided in those rules. 2. The Police Association shall be entirely independent of and unassociated with anybody or person outside the police service. Subject to subsection 1 and 2 of this section, it shall not be lawful for a member of the department to become a member of any trade union or any association having for its objects or one of its objects to control or influence the pay, the pension, or conditions of service of the police department, and any member of the department who contravenes this provision shall be disqualified from continuing to be a member of the department, and if any member of the department continues to act as such after becoming so disqualified, he shall forfeit all pension rights and be disqualified from being thereafter employed in the department. But where a man, you see how they're using man right here instead of person, where a man was a member of a trade union before becoming a constable, he may, with the consent of the commissioner, continue to be a member of that union during the time of his service in the department. So interesting that they use the word man right here and not a person. So interesting. Very, very interesting. Wow. a man was made a member of the trade union. Wow, okay. If any question arises whether anybody is a trade union or an association to which subsection 3 of this section applies, it shall be determined by a magistrate. 35. It shall be lawful to establish in Belize City and in each district a police canteen. 2. Subsection 2. The Commissioner of Police may, with the approval of the Minister, make rules in regard to the hours during which such canteens shall be kept open on each day and for the proper management and control of the canteen. Okay. Part 5. Additional police officers, offenses, and penalties. Section 36, subsection 1. The Commissioner may appoint in writing under his hand any one or more special constable or constables who shall on appointment take the oaths as set forth in the schedule to this act. Subsection 2. Notice of such appointment and of the cause thereof shall without delay be transmitted by the Commissioner to the Permanent Secretary for the information of the Public Service Commissioner, Minister, and Governor General, who may revoke the same. 3. Subsection 3. Every special constable shall have all powers of a member of the department as by law, now or hereafter, to be established and shall be subject to the orders of the Commissioner. 37. Section 37, subsection 1. The Commissioner may, with the authority of the Governor General, establish a reserve police department, which shall be known as the Police Reserve. Subsection 2. Every member of the Police Reserve shall be deemed to be a police officer during the period when he is called out of service. Subsection 3. The Governor General may make regulations relating to the formation and conditions of service of such police reserve. Section 38, subsection 1. Any persons who, see again, person, doesn't say man, so this is just saying any person, anybody acting in the person of the department, meaning a constable, inspector, those are persons. Okay, so any person who A. assaults, resists, or obstructs. B. uses any abusive or insulting language to. Or C. aids or incites any person to assault, resist, or obstruct any member of the department or a special constable appointed under Section 36 of this Act in the execution of his duty, or any person acting in aid of any such member of the department shall be liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 12 months. Or, in the discretion of the magistrate, he may be committed for trial to the Supreme Court. Subsection 2, in this case, in the case of assault, the offender, again, the police officer who offended, shall be liable to payment of any sum awarded to the member of the department assaulted by way of compensation for injuries of his person, clothing, necessaries or equipment. 39. Any person who, not being a member of the department, has in his possession any arms, ammunition, clothing, accoutrements, or other appointments furnished for the use of members of the department, and cannot satisfactorily account for his possession thereof. Or B. knowingly purchases or obtains or solicits or incites any member of the department to sell or dispose of any arms, ammunition, clothes, or other articles of public property. You see, these are all public property. These things that they're using, all the clothes, the uniform, those are public property. Or any articles provided by the vehicles, for the vehicles of the department. Again, public property. Shall on conviction before the magistrate be liable to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 12 months. 40. Any person who, causes or attempts to cause or does any act calculated to cause disaffection among the members of the department, or B, includes or attempts to induce or does any act calculated to induce any member of the department to withhold his services or to commit breaches of discipline, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and shall be liable on conviction on indictment to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years, or on summary conviction to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months, or to a fine not exceeding $500, or to both such fine and term of imprisonment. Section 41, Part 6, Arrest. Every officer of police shall have power by virtue of his office, meaning his oath of office, at all times to enter with such constables as he thinks necessary, as well by night and by day, into and upon every vessel, not being then actually employed in his Majesty's services, lying in any port, not being then actually employed in her Majesty's service, lying in any port, harbor, bay, or creek of Belize, and into every part of every such vessel for the purpose of. So, wait a minute. I'm talking about ships. Okay. Power to board and inspect ships. Okay. A. Inspecting and upon occasions directing the conduct of any constable who may be stationed on board of any such vessel. B. Inspecting and observing the conduct of all other persons employed on board of any such vessels or in, about, the loading or unloading thereof, as the case may be. C. Taking all such measures as may be necessary for providing against fire or other accidents. D. Preserving peace and good order on board of any such vessel. And E. Effectually preventing and detecting any felony or misdemeanor. 42. Power to arrest without warrant. Okay, it shall be lawful for any police officer or for all persons whom he may call to his assistance to apprehend without a warrant in the following cases: any person found drunk, or who is disorderly in any street or public place at any hour of the day or night. Wow. Well, you see, it's saying any person. It's not saying any man. It's not saying any man. And it makes a clear distinction that a man can act as a person. So this is, see, their jurisdiction is limited to persons. Now, which type of persons? That's the question. Because again, man should, if he is under God, if man is under his laws of his creator, he's not going to be found drunk. He's not going to be disorderly. He's not going to be in a public place at any hour being disorderly. Let's continue. See, any idle or disorderly person whom he finds between sunset and 6 in the morning, lying or loitering in any street or other public place, and not giving a satisfactory account of himself, you see, it's not accounting for himself, or whom he has good cause to suspect of having committed or being about to commit a felony, any felony, misdemeanor, or breach of any peace. They can also, so what are we talking about? This is lawfully put to persons whom he call assistance to apprehend without a warrant. Okay. Any person whose name and residence are unknown to and cannot be ascertained by such officer within whose view such person commits any summary jurisdiction offense. Okay. Any person accused by any other person with committing any aggravated assault in any case in which such police officer has good reason to believe such assault has been committed, although not within his view and not by reason of the recent commission of the offense, a warrant could not have been obtained for the apprehension of the person accused. E. Every person who commits any of the offenses mentioned in section 3(1), paragraph this right here, all of this, section 3, inclusive section 4(1) of the summary jurisdiction offenses. So wait a minute. So anybody in section 3? What is this? Page 29, section 3. Section 3. Wait a minute. Anybody who has been appointed by the Governor General? Is that what it's saying? 29. Where is it? Here you go. Where is it? So they can take anybody with a warrant who commits any offense, who commits any of the offenses mentioned in section 3, subsection 1. Section 3, subsection 1. What do you mean section 3, section 3, subsection 1 and paragraphs? I think this is wrong. Section 3. Section 3. Let me see. It's under appointments. Unless it means part 3? Maybe it means part 3, not section 3. Maybe it means part 3. That's very strange. Well, I understand it. They make mistakes sometimes, so it's fine. Anyway, the power to arrest, and I'm here in subsection 2, the power of arrest without warrant conferred upon a police officer under paragraph E shall, unless the contrary expressly provided by any statute, be exercised only where the offense is committed within the view of the officer. Okay, this has to be witnessed by the officer. Any person within whose views of any of the offenses mentioned in paragraph E of subsection 1 of the section is committed may apprehend the other person who committed the same and forthwith take and convey him before a magistrate for the purpose of having him dealt with according to law, or he may deliver that person over any police officer or other peace officer to be taken and conveyed before a magistrate for the like purpose. I still think that, the magistrate court is for them. For them. It's not for man and woman. It's for people who are working for and employed with the government and is subject under the acts upon pledging allegiance or making a declaration of allegiance to Her Majesty and the government of Belize. Anyway, it's 43. It shall be lawful for any police officer and for all persons whom he may call to his assistance to enter into any house licensed for the sale by retail of fermented or spirituous liquors, and to search therein for offenders and otherwise perform their duties on using a little annoyance to the inmates thereof as possible. What? Let me read this again. It shall be lawful for any police officer and for all persons whom he may call to his assistance to enter in any house licensed for a sale by a retail. So only if you're licensed for sale by retail of fermented or spirituous, he can enter into, because his license means that the crown has an interest in that place. So he has authority, but if it's not licensed, he can't enter. It's private. It's very interesting. But then it says here, and to search therein offenders and otherwise perform their duties, using as little annoyance to the inmates thereof as possible. What do you mean inmates? What are you talking about, inmates? How does a licensed house have inmates? That's very strange. I don't know what that means. 44. Every person found committing any offense punishable either upon indictment in the Supreme Court or as a petty misdemeanor upon summary conviction. A. May be taken into custody without a warrant by any police officer and by any person whom he may call to his assistance, or may be apprehended by the owner of the property or on or with respect to which the offense is committed, or by his servant or any person authorized by him, and may be detained until he can be delivered into the custody of a police officer to be dealt with according to. So if okay, so all right, shall be taken into custody, may be apprehended by the owner of the property. Every person found committing any offense punishable either upon indictment in the Supreme Court or as a petty misdemeanor upon summary conviction may be apprehended by the owner of the property. Wait a minute, what the hell are they talking about? If he was found guilty of committing an offense, this happens in a court. It says it right here, upon indictment in the Supreme Court or upon summary conviction, he may be apprehended by the owner of the property, on or with respect to which the offense is committed, or by his servant. Wait a minute. Oh, I think he's talking about this right here. It shall be lawful for any police officer. Okay. It's very interesting. Any police officer may also stop, search, and detain any conveyance in or upon which there is reason to suspect that anything stolen or unlawful obtained may be found. Any person who may be reasonably suspected of having or conveying in any manner anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. 3. Any person to whom any property is offered to be sold, pawned, or delivered, if he has a reasonable cause to suspect that any such offense has been committed with respect to such property, or that the property of or any part of it has been stolen or otherwise unlawfully obtained, is hereby authorized, and if in his power is required, to apprehend and detain, and as soon as may be, to deliver such offender into the custody of police officer together with such property to be dealt with according to the law. 45. It shall be lawful for any police officers to stop and detain until due inquiry can be made any person whom and any vehicle which he finds employed in removing the furniture of any house or lodging between the hours of 8 in the evening and 6 in the following morning, or whenever a police officer has good ground to believe that such removal is being made for the purpose of evading or payment of rent. Okay. So this is power to stop removal of furniture between 8 to 6 p.m. That's interesting. Okay. Alright. 46. Whenever a person having charge of a horse or any other animal, vehicle, boat, or thing is taken into the custody of a police officer under the provision of any act, any police officer may take charge of the horse or other animal, boat, or thing and deposit it. See how he says he uses the word deposit it in some safe place of custody as a security for payment of any penalty. Wait a minute. to which the person having charge thereof may become liable. So this is taken as a security. All of these things are taken for security, for payment. So that means when they're charged, well, if they keep the security, if they keep the deposit, then they should be let go. Anyway, let's see right here. Let me read it again. Whenever any person having charge of a horse or any other animal, vehicle, boat, or thing is taken into the custody of a police officer under the provisions of any act, any police officer may take charge of the horse or other animal, boat, or thing and deposit it in some safe place of custody as a security for payment of any penalty to which the person having charge thereof may become liable, and for payment of any expense which may have been necessarily incurred for taking charge of the such keeping of things. Okay, any magistrate before whom the case is heard may, upon conviction of such person, order such horse or other animal, vehicle, or boat, or thing to be sold for the purpose of satisfying such penalty and reasonable expense in default of payment thereof, in like manner as if they had been subject to be distrained, and had been distrained for the payment of such penalty and reasonable expenses. We're almost done. This is page 31. 47. Every person taken into custody by a police officer without warrant shall be forthwith delivered to the officer in charge of the nearest police station, in order that such person may be secured until he can be brought before a magistrate to be dealt with according to the law, or may give bail for his appearance before a magistrate, if the officer in charge deems it prudent to take bail. Miscellaneous. 48. Non-commissioned officers and constables shall be entitled to free medical treatment. Wow, okay. Including dental treatment. And government hospitals, and if admitted to hospitals, shall not be charged for maintenance. Wow, I didn't know that. So that's good. They get free medical treatment. 49. It shall be the duty of the police to take charge of all property which he has been made an exhibit in any criminal case. 50. At the conclusion of the hearing of the case, a matter with regard to which property has been made an exhibit, the registrar, or in cases in summary jurisdiction court, the clerk of court may deliver such exhibits to an officer or non-commissioned officer who is in attendance at the court, and hereafter the property shall be deemed to be in the custody of the police. 51. The police officer in charge of any such property shall, on demand, unless otherwise ordered by a judge or magistrate, deliver all exhibits to the owners thereof, upon the latter giving a receipt thereof. Of such receipt shall be kept for 12 months and may be destroyed then. Unclaimed exhibits is dealt with as lost or abandoned property. Should any such exhibit not be claimed within 2 weeks of the hearing, it shall be the duty of the police to deal with them in respects as if they were lost or abandoned property found in the provisions of the Lost or Abandoned Property Act. The owner thereof shall be in all respects in the same position as, and shall have in relation thereto only the rights of an owner of lost and abandoned property under provisions of the Lost or Abandoned Property Act, Chapter 335. 53. The minister may make regulations for the better carrying out of the intentions and purposes of the act. Subsection 2. Without prejudice to the generality of the provisions of subsection 1 of this section, the minister may make regulations in respect of the following matters. A. Fixing the fees to be charged by the police for reports or copies of statement or other documents supplied by them to members of the public. B. The award of certificates, medals, honors, and other recognitions to deserving members of the department or other persons acting in aid of the department. C. The procedure to be followed for conducting disciplinary proceedings against members of the department. 54. Where a vehicle is seized and forfeited as a result of police investigation and shall be placed at the disposal of the Commission for police work unless otherwise directed by the Minister. The Police Act, Oath of Allegiance, Oath of Allegiance and Office. Here's the oath. I, whatever the name, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, some lady that lives far away and not in this land, and her heirs, her successors, according to the law, so help me God. My goodness. Oath of office. I, whoever the individual, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty in the office, so help me God. Justice of the peace. There you go. Well, thank you for watching, guys. This is it. This is 36 minutes. What is this? 35 minutes. All right. Well, thank you for watching, guys. This is the Police Act of Belize, and as you can see, they serve the crown. This very interesting stuff here. And until next time, peace and love.